Hi, Tormod here. Um, so today I've had a very nice day so far. It's been challenging with work, physical work. I pushed myself pretty damn hard with physical work today. Really sweating, really feeling, what shall I say, flames burning on my inside, like having to really stop and breathe and just close my eyes and just fucking breathe, be with myself. More and more finding myself in the physical, not lost in the mind, in the head, the paranoia and the thoughts. That is a very prominent thing to learn and take with you from this video, to not be lost in the mind, in the head, in the paranoia and the thinking, but to focus, keep the focus on the being in your guts, in your liver, in your heart, in your body, and not be addicted to energies and thoughts and such. And within living this in a, what shall I say, disciplined manner, uh, what I realize is that my biggest uh, opponent have been myself throughout my life. My biggest opposer, my biggest fear, my biggest judge have been myself. I have always feared myself the most. I had always judged myself the most. And specifically, self-judgment have been the very uh, prominent personality emotion playing out within me. Now, I've come to realize throughout the years that the judgment is of mind. The judgment is of the box, is of the how I perceive things and imagine things. It is it is all a pre-programmed. It's like the Matrix movie tells us, which is very much accurate. The first movie of those three. It's a very accurate movie, and it says that uh, it's all mind, it's all illusion, which is very much true. Problem is that we can't just say, oh, it's an illusion, just leave it, it's an illusion, ignore it, because that is very irresponsible. Because from this illusion, yes, illusion, we create our daily living lives within the system. Call it whatever system we call it, the society out there. From we create a society, a world system of governments and business and schools and such, based on illusions, based on mind, based on consciousness, based on thinking, based on personalities, all these details. If you watch the Matrix movie, the first movie of Matrix, you get a little introduction to the advancedness of this. You get an introduction to how deep it goes, to how extreme it is, and how that can be all turned around completely into a good life for all, into utopia, into heaven, if we can start releasing ourselves, like Neo waking up in the in this little in this little um, that fake belly, what do you call it? That womb, artificial womb. That's it, artificial womb, which he is lying in, and we can wake up and see that, hey, it's all mind, it's all energies. I need to get through this. I need to get through this myself. I can't just project this getting throughness over to Leonardo DiCaprio or President Trump or Bill Gates or Elon Musk and say they will fix it for me. And just say that Madonna is a feminist, she will fix everything. We have to do this ourselves. We can't just project things out and say that our children will do this for us or our parents will do this for us. We have to do this ourselves, and time is now, and we are the change that we have been waiting for. So, we have built a world, a Babylon, a capitalistic, whatever name you give this matrix, this system. We have built a world based on mind, consciousness, structures, components, very, very much. So, for me, facing self-judgment in my process is a very prominent element in my process, judging myself for my life with my schizophrenia, with addictions and energies and all these things going on in my mind. That is a part of me that I have to take responsibility for. I can't just project my mind elsewhere and say that fuck that mind, I'm not dealing with this. I have to be responsible. And that responsibleness and that self-honesty are very key, together with self-forgiveness, to get through all these layers of mind. To get through all these layers of mind, there is no better, and I tell you again, no better tool than to use the tool of self-forgiveness. That way you really set free the energies and learn to live as physical, as breath, as awareness, as solution, as responsibility, as honesty, as self-honesty. And for me, getting through a lot of my schizophrenic symptoms, I have swum and written and cried and, through the layers of mind. I've written and spoken and walked through the layers of mind into myself, into physical, into my body, as of this, not lost in the head mind, paranoia thinking, but in my physical, as of, what shall I say, the rest of me, or the totality of me. I'm not going to leave out any part. I'm going to be complete, whole, and responsible. And that responsibility and self-honesty is practically without limits. I mean, if we can create such a world, let's look at all the wars, the Second World War, all the things that have been going on this earth, crucifixion of Jesus, whatever, all the horrible things that humans do to each other, if we can just turn that completely around and reverse it, or put it in drive, to say that because we're living now in reverse. There's no control. There is control, but there's no real control. There's no real care. There's no real love. There's no real consideration, responsibility, regard. There's no realness. It's all Russia this, United States that, and back and forth, and we let these people play on our destiny, and we let them, we let people work at Burger King for so and so many hours, working their fucking asses off behind those desks and behind those whatever factories in China, making practically nothing of money, working their fucking asses off. And some people have all the money and all the bank authority. I mean, we cannot go on with this. We simply cannot go on with this. So we at Destiny say, okay, fine. We're going to completely put it into drive, from reverse into drive. We're giving this into life. We're putting life at the steering wheel. Life is now the directive path. I would give that some consideration if I were you. I would really give that some consideration and time considered to put life in the director's seat. What does that fucking mean, man? What does that mean? Because that is where we're at. So, realizing that self-judgment, which have been my very key opposer of self, when I'm looking at self-judgment, I realized that it's all been a program. It's all doesn't exist. And if I have forgiven all the energy components attached and all the structures attached to my own self-judgment, if I can forgive all the energies, all the history, all the thinking, all the fear, all the projecting, all the whateverness, in consideration to my self-judgment, I can forgive it all in great detail and leave it as dust, as nothingness. Just as, let it, if I see the design of it, because everything that is everything has a design. So if I see the design of self-judgment in my face, which sometimes happens still, I will let go of it because I have forgiven it. And if it sticks, I have to investigate it more and just scan it through my awareness, my self-honesty, and see why is it here in my face now? Why is this self-honesty not giving me a break? Why? So if I can become free from self-judgment, and it's not an easy thing. If you investigate your mind, which is a part of you, which is a part of me, there are programs, there are layers of memories, and what shall I say, compartments. It is massive, but we have to do it because we can. We have to do it because we can. Because this life, in suffering, in greed, in ego, in rape, in murder, in abuse of children, all these things that is going on in this world, we are all equally responsible for. Because we have a mind consciousness system, the box, the TV, whatever you call it, that the mind consciousness system, which is in all of the human beings, all of us. So we are all one, we are all equally responsibility. So how can I rescue myself within this? How can I fix myself? Or how can I, not fix myself, but how can I get to a point of reconciliation and let's say comfort within myself to say, okay, now I have self-honesty, now I have awareness, I'm grounded in my body, I breathe, I have stability as breath in and out, I'm aware that I'm breathing all the time, I have stability in my body, I have, all these things, these words, all these living words and solutions. That is very much where I'm at now, trying to stabilize myself in this, what should I say, safe zone or comfort of myself, trying to stabilize myself in life, really. Saying that, okay, this is a good spot, this is a good place to be now, Tormod. You have used smotion to get into this place, smotion, self in motion. You have used smotion to come into this place, to stabilize in, for instance, your liver, or in your stomach, or in your kidneys, or in your heart, or in all the organs of the upper body, or in your whole body, or in my toes, or under my feet, or in my hands. So if I can stabilize myself and find that care, consideration. Find that love inside myself, to give myself self-support, to forgive myself completely without bias, to be that self-emotion, to move within myself, to find care, to find that ease, to find that potential, you could say, within myself, to see that I have been hurting myself through emotions, through anxiety and fears and judgment. I mean, those are rough designs and hurtful physically on your body. It may look like something of a TV in the mind with anxiety or angst or fear or whatever, self-judgment, blame. But what does that picture of the sharp object or the barbed wire or whatever design that specific emotion has an effect on the delicate, might I say, soft, vulnerable or gullible the body, the organs, the soft tissue, the gentle, soft liver, the heart, your intestine, your stomach, which is the delicate part, which is not given attention, is it? You feed it some time, maybe eat some healthy food or some medication that assists you, but do you give it real time through moments, through a period of time of the day, like several hours a day, attention? Do you say that, okay, before I go to this meeting with Mrs. Brown, I will focus on my stomach only, and I will do this activity or whatever, and I will breathe, and I will have a clear and concentrated focus on my stomach, and look and study it within myself, to be self-aware, to be in motion, to find living words that assist you throughout the day. To learn self-forgiveness. That is the ultimate key. Or, yeah. So, for me, with my schizophrenia, walking through my mind, through all the layers, through all the anxiety, through all the fears, all the self-judgment, coming through that with self-forgiveness and seeing myself, here I am, flesh and blood, a delicate, vulnerable body of tissue and skin and organs and blood and bones and so on. Just seeing that picture is just, wow. I am such a delicate being. I'm such a vulnerable being. And to not give too much attention to mind, because mind will always present you the same old, rock and roll. Wah, wah, wah. Here we go, thinking something here. We gotta look into thoughts. What are thoughts really? I wonder what thoughts really are. How come animals don't think? What don't they think? Maybe they're not as smart as humans are. Or I'm gonna entertain myself with some pictures, and look at some pictures, and dream of way Facebooking or YouTube and Twitter and pictures in my mind, and just play along with this whatever pops up of words, and just float with it. Lost in mind control, in the control of your own mind consciousness system of up here. Living the lie instead of being physical, grounded, self-aware in breath. Breathe. Yeah. It's amazing. We can create literally anything out of this world. If we can lose focus, if we can lose the focus from the mind, But that takes a process through the mind, through the layers, through the memories, through the traumas, through the drama of the past, into the physical, into the realness, into whatever we call that, Zion or heaven or utopia or body or physicality or good food or touch, intimacy. So, going rounds with myself, going round with myself, figuring myself out with the tools provided by Destiny has been the most rewarding thing that I beyond my imagination, because imagination is just a picture in the mind to entertain you lost in mind. Porn, movie, or pictures in mind, fantasies, Disney this, whatever, lost in mind thinking, getting nowhere, just looping around, fucking yourself over. So, the ultimate key to become real, to become here within yourself, not the hair in your soup, in your imaginary soup, but become here in the physical, in your body, flesh and blood and bones and heart and words to take on, instead of being directed by the mind to look at the glam, to look at the whatever, look at the sugar, look at what they're selling you, it's fantastica, yeah, God. There is no God. There is the human as the physical. Yes, there have been creators of the human, and it's been a combination of both creation and evolution. But I'll tell you again, my friend, there is no God. We are all equally in this together. So, it's a process. And that mind thing up in the head, well, it will. It's a perspective, isn't it? But I wouldn't stay in there for too long because it's not supportive to life. So, yeah, finding groundedness, safety in the body, finding living words that can suit you, finding stability of self, finding self-honesty, finding integrity, transparency. There is no right or wrong. There is no right or wrong, because right or wrong is just an illusion or pre-programmed desires and not likes and such cultural blah, whatever. There is no right or wrong. There is only what is best for all, because we're all as humanity in this together. All as life, as a matter of fact. When you go to the ultimate level, it's all as life. We're all equally in this together. And the best way to become real is to work through the mind with the tool of the forgiving self. That is the precious process. To find grounding in your physical, to breathe, and so on. So for me, day by day, take it day by day. And make sure that I push myself to do that little bit extra every day for my fellow man? Did I do that little bit extra in moments to consider other beings, consider all life, all things included? And yeah, that's much what it's all about. To be the change that I want to see. If I would like to see a change, I have to be that change myself, or else I would be a fake and a con. Yeah. So with my schizophrenia, I'm probably going to carry my schizophrenia and my mind. I know that I'm going to carry my mind for the rest of my life on this planet. And it's interesting. It's really interesting. The schizophrenia part, very interesting. That's where I'm at now. I'm born schizophrenic, and I'm able to say that my schizophrenia is interesting. It fascinates me. The sign and you know how to really reverse that from having been in reverse from the how we are creating a matrix more and more with paranoia, with war systems and so on, and looking at myself that I have been living with those war systems locked in my mind as schizophrenic. That is one of the very core definitions of schizophrenia, the war in the mind between personalities. So no one is free until all are free. And it's a process to get there. And I sure hope that you would like to walk with, because yeah, do the math. So I take it day by day, breath by breath, moment by moment. To be responsible, to be honest and responsible, and to gain self-trust, self-confidence, and become more real, become more physical, more grounded, and to create, to birth life from the physicality of me, to birth that into life, into integrity, into honesty, into responsibility. To see that me as living flesh, body, heart, liver is having an effect in this world within birthing life from the physical, which is a very key thing that Jesus was mentioned in the self-forgiveness Bible.